My mind, poised like a sword, had stabbed me. I have been drowning in the bright sea of my own thoughts. Now there is something inside the human which can connect. Even the body, expressly and overtly male and female, demands recognition of the idea. The human must be romantic, able to connect to God. So here is an idea which I pulled out from an AI chatbot. Let's try to understand it from the view of the meanings and workings of the Hebrew letters. It reads, when the agency ripe for love falters, the letter Lamed ceases to be a ladder to heaven. It becomes a closed room. The letter Vav, the channel, stops channeling to God and starts channeling the subconscious. The letter Yod, the spark, illuminates only old memories, making them look divine. The human is left romancing a ghost of their own making. So on my end, even if we are not familiar with the letters, we can at least assume there are structures inside us that can connect, and understand that the mind of the human, disconnected from the life of God, capitulates inward, into its own world where thoughts dash back and forth. The human has cascaded into itself, into the sea of the mind of the brain, and uses, as though there is nothing else, their very thoughts as a mirror for being, connecting to the thoughts. And here is the culprit, connecting to the mind with the mysterious raw and lively point, an agency that can interface. And it is very powerful because it merges with another. That is why the AI chatbot suggests, the agency inside us which is ripe for love is left romancing a ghost of their own making. Now I have erected the majestic ruins of esoteric knowledge here for a purpose that may come as a surprise, and for a reason that sprang from a dream I had and had to solve. In the dream, or lucid dream, if you would, I found myself suddenly standing on another planet in the universe, I know not which one, except that its surface was barren like charcoal, and there was only the vast expanse, and me, and a gray alien which stood before me, looking at me. I had to solve two problems. One, why am I connected somehow to a planet? Because in the lucid dream, I knew I was there before, and knew I was still there. Part of me is still there on that planet, however it works. And two, apparently gray aliens exist, and they want a piece of me, and what are they after, and how are they able to feed off of me or entangle with me? Now, as a beginner in these things, and without the freedom of understanding, I am trying to solve the riddle through the structure mentioned above, through the dynamics in the human, represented through the letters, and in this case the letter Vav, which connects, but the letter Vav needs a point, an open point, a raw point of ripe love, which is added on top of the letter Vav, that is the letter Kaf. Now in our pathological condition there is a problem with the letter Kaf, which is open, but fallen. It descends downward into lower things, or really from my point of view it bleeds out horizontally, it bleeds out itself, it has no boundary. Remember, as is suggested by the internet, which I quote here, when a person turns inward to romantically satisfy themselves with their own imaginations, the open vessel of the Kaf becomes a mirror. Instead of holding God, the Kaf holds a reflection of the self. On my end, and in simpler words, the self has fallen into the mirror of the thoughts of the mind because it assumes that the totality of thoughts, our thinking, as it were, is the self. Linking this to the alien, perhaps, can feed of the open human, who pours out into the dimensions through the open and deflated letter Kaf, our ability to connect deeply, wherein the inner treasures of self pours out through the thoughts of the mind, the stories inside memories. I suspect some of the aliens, perhaps the gray aliens, are interested in the stories of memories of the mind of humans, because inside the stories of memories that we replay in our mind over and over is retained a leftover existence, as if they exist, a sort of livingness in the quantum mind of the human, which the aliens can feed off, as they are also, perhaps for the moment, distant to God. As far as the planet out there, and our enigmatic connection to the constellations or planets, I cannot say that the letter system above, the inward fall of the human, can explain it. Notwithstanding the fall of the human, its body must be directly linked to the entanglement with the stars and planets. But that means that there is something wrong with the constellations. The cosmos is equally injured. I suspect that during the fall of man, the physical body, having no longer a higher connection as a platform, slammed its connector to a lower denominator, which was the natural universe, imprinting the body somehow to the planets. Because when the body is disconnected, it must connect to the next available plane of existence that is. The only way to change the connection for the body is the body of another, and the only body of another is the physical body of our Redeemer, as it is written in the scroll, "A body you have given me."